My next guest is a dynamic tech creator whose infectious personality radiates through his content. I appreciate his lively and spontaneous approach to making videos, along with his willingness to explore a diverse range of tech topics. Despite being a relatively young creator, he has quickly garnered a substantial following on social media, and I think there are valuable lessons to be learned from his journey. I'm looking forward to meeting with him for the first time today and to delve into some insightful conversations with him. Without further ado, this is Tony of TonyTechBytes. Yeah, you took that. I wish I could do that more. Like, just remember to take a selfie, like during cool moments, because it's like, it's fun to post, you know, it's fun to have that memory and like and to share with your viewers.
Yeah.
But I feel like I always get so caught up in the moment where, like, I don't know, I'll just be talking to someone and I'm present, and then like they leave and I'm like, shit, I should have got a picture. You know, I used to be a lot better at it, but nowadays, like, I always slip. Is it just like something that's constantly on your mind where you're like, I got to get a selfie while I'm here? Or like you're already thinking 3 steps ahead in terms of like what kind of short little bits of content you can make?
Yeah, I'm always thinking of how to make extra content, like Instagram stories. I could tweet that out, tag you, tag PG Tech, and just have a funny caption. Like, I took a selfie when I was sitting at that seat just watching you guys talk, and I was like, I could probably just write a piece of text and say like, doing a side quest, like the randomest thing.
That's so good. Yeah, that's awesome. How did you actually get your start?
Yeah, so I actually started YouTube videos in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Ken was helping me as well because he's a photographer, and YouTube was not going well for me. So I was in freshman year of high school. I was really interested in consumer technology. Ken and I were talking about tech all day long when we were in like homeroom. So I was inspired by Justin C. I don't know if you are familiar with him. He's like a Canadian YouTuber. He makes like...
I'll probably come across his stuff, but
Yeah, so I was inspired by him to just start making content. So every week or so, like on the weekends, Ken and I would just film a quick video. It'd be like a review of the Microsoft Surface Pro 4 or the iPhone 6 back then.
Nice.
And then like around 2019, I was realizing like this is not really working because I got super busy with high school. I was entering college soon. I was at like 3,000 subscribers, and I was barely posting, probably like once a month at best. And then I saw my brother was like addicted to TikTok on his phone. I was like, dude, you actually downloaded that? Because I saw so many ads on YouTube about TikTok. So I downloaded it, and I was like, this is pretty addicting. It's pretty interesting. And there was not a single tech video. There was probably one tech creator at the time. And I was like, this is untapped territory. So let's see. I posted a few videos. Nothing really picked up steam. And then March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, we were all stuck at home. I was like, I got to take this seriously. So I posted more consistently, probably like once or twice a day. It was like PC parts lists, like $500 PC build, $1,000 PC build. It wasn't until around May of 2020, I posted, I kid you not, a 45-part series on TikTok in the span of 2 days.
For like how to build something?
Yeah, how to build a PC back to back to back to back.
Jeez.
And like with the TikTok app, it's really easy to just like film clips, trim it down a little, and then
was each clip like a minute long, or?
Well, like each clip was probably a couple seconds where I'd plug in one cable. I'd be like, plug in this cable down here, and then
damn, that's a whole new way to like learn.
Yeah, that got me from 10,000 to 60,000 in 2 days.
No way.
And that was the point when I realized like this is like game changing. So I was supposed to actually go to college for computer engineering.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't really want to pay 40 grand a year for online education with the pandemic and everything. So I just headed over to online community college classes, and then I just transferred recently. But yeah, I've just like, I feel like the pandemic really spurred growth for me because everyone was stuck at home. I was stuck at home, and I had nothing better to do.
I mean, it's like a combination of like some luck, but then also like making your own luck to a degree.
Yeah,
like right time, right place, but then also like knowing what to do at that time and place.
Yeah.
Which you nailed it. You found this like cheat code almost. You know? And I think obviously like the algorithm for I think most platforms will kind of weigh how interesting your content is, how rich it is by how many of your videos people are watching in succession.
Yeah.
And to have like a 40-something part
Yeah.
video where it's just like people are just going through that, like the algorithm's just got to be loving it.
And then they see the 20-something video on the For You page, and they're like, where's parts 1 to whatever? And then they're like,
right.
He's already installing the GPU. So they click on my profile, and then they scroll down, and
That's
they're
genius.
like, man, maybe I should stay tuned. I mean, a lot of people did get really annoyed. They were like, why don't you just post this on YouTube? And I was like,
yeah, but screw
people
them.
asked me to post on TikTok, and like people on TikTok, like a lot of videos are just really shallow. Like there's not much information. Kind of the only way to do that is to post a bunch more, or to just move to long form.
Sure.
And long form wasn't really working for me. And so like it ended up working pretty well with TikTok.
Have you tried long form on TikTok? Or
let's see. So I haven't really posted like 10-minute videos on TikTok. I know you can though, but let's see. It just ends up I still make long form videos on YouTube occasionally, like once a month or so. I just become a totally different person. Like when I have my phone out, I feel like I'm organically FaceTiming a friend. Like it's super casual, and when I'm filming and I'm talking to a camera and trying to give a speech for like 20 minutes on a review or something, or if I'm building a PC, there's so much dead space. The video just ends up being incredibly boring for me, and I talk like a robot for some reason.
Dude, honestly, I'm the same way, because I feel like, you know, as someone who's done tons of reviews where you're sitting behind a desk, there's a tripod in a studio environment. I mean, vlogging still feels way more natural to me, and that's not everyone, right? Like I just having the handheld camera just on a mini tripod or something, and you're walking around, you're like swinging your arms. I'm I'm like Gumby, you know. I'm just like my limbs are always flying around, but like I feel so much more natural in that environment, and I like it. I just flow. It flows more. Whereas like I'll trip over myself constantly if I was just talking to this camera right now. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that's just a thing. But it's cool that you realized that and found this new platform, found your niche and like how you actually like your medium for making content. And it's just like it seems to fit you so well, because I mean you just seem so natural in the videos. You seem like just like you're having a good time. You know what I mean? Why do you think that is? Why do you think you're so like, okay, you did say because it kind of reminds you like you're FaceTiming with a friend, but I feel like so many people just clam up when they see a camera. You know what I mean? Have you been surrounded by have you been on camera a lot in the past?
A production?
Yeah.
That's funny because I was actually at a like a networking info session for at college, and they were talking about like networking tips and interview tips, and the interviewer, she was giving us tips, and she was like, if you're doing a video interview, it's going to be a little bit different. And she was saying that she's like a people person. She's really good with talking to people, but then when she's in front of a camera, she's like clams up and everything. I'm like the complete opposite for some reason.
Yeah, dude.
It's
I know what you mean.
I see someone and like you read their emotions, you overthink, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't say that, maybe I should.
Right.
With a camera, it's like there's no emotion. You're just talking to yourself, and
and there's no like you're free of judgment. You know, there's no or at least there's no fear that the camera's gonna think badly of you. You know, like that was a stupid thing to say. It's like, no, I'll just edit it out. You know, no one has to know. But that does, I think, just allow people like me and you like to just let our hair down and just kind of relax with it. You know. Yeah, dude, it's wild. So the other thing I want to talk to you about. Did you really put windshield wiper fluid into a cooling loop?
Oh yeah. So the funny thing was that I bought windshield washer fluid, and like while I was buying it, I was like, wouldn't this be interesting if I put it in a PC? And then I was doing some research. I couldn't really find much about it. People were just saying like, it's not gonna work. Don't try it.
Yeah.
Pretty
good advice.
I've actually never done a custom water cooled PC, but I built like a semi water cooled PC with Intel. It was like a speed building competition where the tubes were already pre-bent and pre-cut, so kind of like a cheat water cooled PC.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I had that. I was getting ready to give that away, and then I was like, what if I just pretended to pour windshield washer fluid in there, cut it halfway into like before I pour it, and then have like an empty bottle, and then change the fluid to a blue color with just water cooling dye.
So you kind of cheated it a bit,
yeah,
but you made it seem like you really did it. Like, what was the public response to that?
What's funny is that I was expecting people to be infuriated. Like,
I would too.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm ruining a giveaway PC. That's that's like really unethical. But
Right.
surprisingly, people were like, I'd still take it. It's a free PC. I want it. And I was like, what? Like,
I love how just weird and wacky TikTok
Yeah.
allows itself to be.
yeah.
I feel like there's less judgment.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are, maybe it's because it's like also like a younger platform. There's some younger creators on it.
Mhm.
Like, how old are you?
I'm 21.
You're 21?
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, I was wondering because like when I met you, I was like, damn, he looks young, dude. I was like, I feel weird bringing him into my hotel room with all these cameras, man. I thought you were gonna have me take a seat. You know what I mean? But that's also so crazy. Like, I feel like it's the really young, like the young creators, especially just jumping, like being one of the first creators to really pioneer the tech space on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, you realize, like, if you keep doing this, in 5-10 years, you're gonna be like one of the OGs. What does that feel like to you? Like,
I tend to not really think about it because when I get in my head, I'm just like, I don't know, because when I look at new creators who are popping up and doing really, really well, I don't want to compare myself to them because then I don't want to be in the mindset where I'm like, they don't deserve that growth because I did it first.
Right, yeah.
But then I need to look at like my posting schedule, my habits, and other aspects. Like, is my video more boring than theirs? And normally that is the case. Like, I've just taken too many breaks. I'm not posting as much. I have other priorities, and they're doing this really well. So I try to look up to other creators who are doing better than me, and I definitely don't want to like compare myself to them. And
of course. I think there's a fine line, you know, between being able to learn from others, from other creators, without like making it a toxic comparison to yourself. Well, first of all, are you doing this full time?
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I could, like, it's pretty feasible, and the thing is that social media is probably not going to disappear in like 10 years. If anything, it's going to go crazy. It might like explode and go even further. But
yeah,
I just transferred from community to UC Davis, and I'm studying managerial economics.
Okay.
And it's a really interesting question because on one hand, I definitely do enjoy making content, and I want to do it in the future. But I also want to explore other career options, and I feel like there's so much more to life than just social media and
for sure
creating content. Because like another point is that social media content creation is kind of a lonely job. Like,
it is, dude.
You're recording all day, you're editing all day, and you're working from home.
Yeah.
You don't really have coworkers. You don't talk to people unless you hire out a team, which is pretty expensive. So
for sure, it gets lonely, dude.
Yeah, so
like, it's a form of torture. It's like just isolating someone.
Yeah,
you know,
so,
for long periods of time. That's our job.
So I'm like in college for the social aspect. I feel like there are other opportunities there as well, like student tech videos, like day in the life of content creator who's in college, apartment tour videos as well, like a gaming setup tour. So just trying out new things, meeting new people. I don't want to like be in one single niche for the rest of my life.
That's one thing I noticed about your TikTok and stuff and your content is that it is it's varied. You know, it's not like you just stick to one thing. Yeah. Which I think is really cool. And I also think like you're reminding me a lot of me for some reason because like I always could never just sit in one niche for too long.
Yeah.
It's just I need to keep it fresh and entertaining. Otherwise it gets dull. You know, like the novelty just wears off really quick for me. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like TikTok almost just like facilitates that more than it's kinder to that level of that kind of creator than YouTube is. I think because like the content is so quick and so short. Let's say you're pumping out like 5 or 6 shorts a week. That's so much content, and they're 60 seconds a piece. No one's going to complain if like one of them is random or you know, different. But if you know you're making only 1 or 2 videos on YouTube a week and you do something that's out of the ordinary, people are like whoa. So it's like I feel like you just get pigeonholed a lot easier on YouTube. Do you feel like that's true at all?
Yeah. For YouTube, I mean, if you make like a 10-minute video about how to build a PC and then the next video is like this random vlog, like I bought a Lamborghini, people are going to be like, dude, I don't really care about that. Like I subscribed for how to build a PC. Whereas with TikTok, I mean, it's just 60 seconds. I mean, you're not putting that much time into it. And I feel like with YouTube, it also goes into the expectations for production quality and like editing, lighting. There's so many more aspects of YouTube and professionalism as well. Whereas with TikTok, it's like kind of just run and gun. no one really expects you to put that much effort into it.
Right. I think the fact that TikTok is a lot more casual does, like we were saying earlier, allows people to just sort of be themselves. And I think that's why a lot of people who follow someone on TikTok isn't necessarily just because of the content or the subject material, but it's like a personality thing.
Yeah.
It's like because that platform is very conducive to creators just being able to be themselves. And you definitely seem like you're just in your element, in your zone when you're in the videos. I could tell that you're just like you're feeling yourself.
Yeah,
dude.
it's funny because like I've met other creators and they're like, dude, you're kind of quiet. Like, well, I thought you'd be like super excited to meet us and energetic and all that. I'm just like, that's not the real me. Like,
right.
I don't. Maybe there are like two aspects of the real me. Like when I'm talking to other people, I'm not really yelling like that. When I'm gaming, I kind of do get like that. But when I'm like in my zone, I'm like doing my own thing, making videos, gaming or whatever. Like I kind of do enter that space.
100%, dude. I mean, I think that's everyone. I think we all have like different sides to us.
Yeah.
And like I talk to some people one way and I'll talk to other people a different way, just based on like the energy, the dynamic. And it's the same thing like when you're on and off camera. Yeah. Because it's like you have to make it engaging, you have to be you have to make it interesting and stuff. But I mean, I was watching your videos. I'm like, this kid is crazy. He's bouncing off the walls. And I was my first interview actually this week was with Terrence DePoets.
Oh yeah.
And I mentioned that I was interviewing with you, and he was like, "Oh, dude." I was like, "How is he? Is he like that crazy in real life?" And then, or I think actually he brought it up. He's like, "No, dude. Like Tony's just quiet. He's like super chill in person. He's like not really anything like he is on camera." And I was like, I said, "Thank God." Because I would not be able to keep up with you.
Yeah.
Hey, big shout out to Thermaltake for hooking it up at CES 2024. So they dropped some seriously cool cases at their booth. And guess what? They teamed up with Asus to birth the Series 330, a mid-tower beauty that's all about those cable-free vibes with Asus's BTF motherboards that put all the connectors and headers on the backside. Clean look? Check. It supports up to 7 120mm fans and a 360 radiator at the front. Oh, and the case on display, you ask? Rocking that awesome hydrangea blue to celebrate Thermaltake's 25th birthday bash. Black and Snow White versions are hitting shelves on January 10th for $109.99 USD. And the hydrangea blue option drops on January 4th, same price. Now let's talk about the CTE E600MX, a real head turner. Dual chamber mid-tower with edge-to-edge glass panels for the ultimate build peep show. You can even swap the front panel with an included mesh panel for more airflow. How cool is that? Plus the whole 90-degree rotated motherboard and a floating like a boss vertical GPU thanks to a handy mounting bracket and PCIe 4.0 cable, which are both included. Launching on January 20th in black, Snow White, and hydrangea blue for $179.99. Not bad at all for all the cool stuff it brings to the table. But wait, there's more. The Tower 300, a micro ATX marvel with an octagonal shape. It's like Loot Crate, Spaceship, endless nerdy possibilities with tons of modding potential. And it's not just for show. Removable toolless glass panels and a hinged fan bracket make access to components and cables a breeze. And if that's not rad already, you've got the option to set it up on an angled stand for a one-of-a-kind perspective on your build. Plus, there's a ventilated panel cleverly concealing all the I/O ports, giving it that ultra-clean aesthetic. Available for $149.99 in custom colors. Black and Snow White are out now. Turquoise and blue on the 14th, and green and yellow dropping on February 4th. Major props to Thermaltake for making these CES 2024 chats happen. Check out their latest gear with the link in the description. Huge shout out to MSI for hooking it up at CES 2024 and making these interviews possible. Now brace yourselves for the tech magic. MSI just unveiled their MEG 321 URX QD OLED display, a 32-inch OLED 4K monitor that's got a wild 240Hz refresh rate and a crazy fast 0.03 millisecond response time. And get this, it's not just any monitor, it's powered by AI. Right now, the AI is all about giving League of Legends players an edge, but more games are in the pipeline. Check this out. There's a slick LED bar on the bottom that syncs with the character's health bar, keeping crucial info in your peripheral vision while you crush it in battle. Then there's AI SkySight, predicting where off-screen enemies might pop up and slapping a red skull icon on screen to show you where they're coming from. It's like tactical ESP. And the best part? No bans here, because all the AI magic happens on the monitor, not your PC. So go ahead, enjoy that sweet victory, you cheating son of a b****. What's really neat is MSI is exploring ways to leverage AI in other games so users can teach their monitors to elevate their gameplay even further. But wait, there's more. MSI dropped a 49-inch QD OLED 2K display with a mind-blowing 5120 by 1440 resolution. Hits up to 144 Hz, and yep, it's packing the same AI superpowers as the other monitor. Both of them are also rocking OLED Care 2.0 for burn-in prevention, dimming desktop icons and other static stuff on your screen. Hear that noise? No, you don't, because this monitor is silent. This baby is fanless, using a graphene film to conduct heat like a champ before exhausting it passively out of its ventilated back panel. Want to dive deeper into all the MSI awesomeness? Hit up the link in the video description. I mean, it's amazing, like, to watch and stuff, but I mean, like, you have this just unearthed energy, you know? Do you ever feel like that energy's not there when you go to pick up the camera? Like, sometimes you're just feeling off, or, you know, it's a rough day. How do you kind of get through that?
Oh yeah, so I definitely feel that more so with long form, because you kind of have to keep the energy going for like longer. So I've had times where I like record for like an hour. I just like kind of get spacey and just get lost, and I'm like, what am I even talking about? So I don't know. It's like sometimes I cut that into like, and it ends up being like 5-minute video, and I'm like, how did I even do that? But I don't know. One tip is, or what works for me, is definitely just getting enough sleep the night before.
Oh, dude. I learned that lesson way too late in life.
Yeah.
That determines whether or not you're going to have a good day.
Yeah. I've tried to record videos on like 6 hours of sleep, and I'm just like, I can't do it at all.
I'm like a 7.5 to 8 hour a night guy.
Yeah.
So I like the people who can just live off of 5 hours of sleep a night. I hate
I can't get it.
I don't understand. Dude. Are you a back sleeper or a side sleeper?
I'm a side sleeper.
Yeah, side sleep team. Hell yeah. I kind of like do this thing where like I'll side sleep, but it's almost like I'm almost on my stomach, but I have a body pillow. And like half my body will be like on the body pillow. That's how I get sleepy. Like it's weird. I can't actually fall asleep on my back. I have to start sleeping on my side, and then right when I'm about to knock out, but I know I can't, I just flip to my back and then I'm out. It's a weird ritual.
So how do you sleep on like long haul flights? Or do you? You don't.
I don't. I'm. It's very hard for me to sleep anywhere. Like I need the planets to be aligned in order to get proper sleep. Yeah. Like it needs to be pitch black. I need to be like the whole side and back thing. Completely quiet, except I need brown noise. Like I just have brown noise playing on Spotify. It's like 12 hours or whatever. Yeah. And then it's like. And it's got to be like the perfect spot on my bed. Yeah. If I'm on it doesn't matter if I'm like first class with lie flat seats. I can't sleep. I mean, I would have to be so sleep deprived for it to actually work, like for me to knock out. But what about you? You knock out pretty quick?
I don't really knock out that quick. I used to get sleepy when driving, which is a bad habit.
Oh,
but when I got my driver's license, like I couldn't do that anymore. Like I had the alert. But I can sleep in like hotel beds. I can sleep in other places.
Sure. Hotel beds are fine.
Yeah, it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes usually to go to sleep, but
I
don't really have trouble. My mom, she's like super picky. She can only sleep in her own bed. Right. She's like tossing and turning in hotel beds and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Oh, do you have your body pillow with you?
No, actually.
I was gonna say we could show it on camera.
So it doesn't have to be a specific body pillow.
Okay, so
unfortunately, there's 4 pillows on this bed, so every night I've just like grabbed one of them, you know, and that's been working out. Fortunately, the beds here are very comfy. Shout out Venetian. But dude, what else can we talk about, dude?
Like inspirations?
Dude, yes. Who is your inspo? Where do you get your inspo from?
I get my inspiration across so many different creators. It's kind of crazy. So with short form, I probably say Carter PCs. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's posting religiously 4 times a day, every single day.
It's nuts.
Even on his sick days. And he also posts more random videos than mine. Like, it's crazy. He was hanging like GPUs on pull-up bars, trying to pull himself up.
Nice.
Let's see. He posted like random videos where he was like cooking stuff, and the videos do really well. And he inspires me to just like post about myself, just post the random stuff and make it more engaging content, which is definitely important. On the YouTube long form side, definitely Justin C. He makes super clean videos about like desk setups and other stuff, which is really inspirational as well. Your videos, I used to watch.
You don't have to say that. You don't gotta say that. Oh, the vlogs.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cat as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
creators.
So much talent out there, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you have to know that there's other creators that are just looking up, feel that same way about you. You know what I mean? Because you're almost at like 500,000 on TikTok right now, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if not more. I don't know, but it's just crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
How's like monetization been? Like monetizing TikTok content?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because I know like the ad revenue is like kind of whack. Is it mostly just like through sponsorships and brand deals and things like that?
Yeah, so the majority is definitely through sponsored brand deals. I think TikTok had like the creativity program or something. They paid like 1% of YouTube's equivalent that you would get. So it was basically peanuts.
Right.
But yeah, the vast majority is sponsored products on TikTok.
Yeah.
They don't have like an AdSense program because they don't show ads before every single video. And if they did, no one would be on that.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering, I'm curious because like I feel like TikTok's now mainstream enough where these massive tech companies are just throwing tons of marketing spend.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these guys, like yourself included, like are on the younger side. You know, you're kind of a young creator. I'm wondering, like, do these companies ever like bully you? Because I've been bullied by big companies before, especially when I was a smaller creator or an early creator. And you kind of, it's just one of those things where it's like they just kind of see you as like this young, naive creator that we can manipulate or like lowball and just boss around, you know, try to get more for what you really agreed on. What's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, I've experienced some of that online, like through email conversations. Most of it is actually in-person networking for me.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like you go up to someone. How do you start a conversation when you're like clearly super young? And I don't even if I were to say like, oh, I make TikTok content, like it's kind of laughable. But I don't know. When it comes to like brands reaching out to me and negotiating and everything, there have been some scenarios where they try to pull quick ones. They're like, we actually wrote in the contract we wanted 2 videos and not 1, or we wanted like an Instagram story and a YouTube video.
Super sketchy.
There have been like usage rights terms that they're like, we own this video forever. We can modify, destroy, edit, like however we like. So, who helps me with that is Doug, who manages Carter, Terrence, as well as other tech creators. So
it's good that you got a guy to read the fine print. Yeah. How many hours a week would you say you're actually putting into this whole tech thing?
So it depends. The thing about being a content creator is like you don't really have breaks unless you just stop posting content. Because like for example at CES we're filming content and then at night we have to edit it. Versus with a 9 to 5, you just clock out. You're done for the day. But like if I don't edit it, no one else will. And like I can send it to an editor, but I don't want to like burden them and be like, I need this today, and they're like, I'm trying to sleep too. And so in terms of like hours worked, while I'm in college, I'd probably say about 20 hours a week.
Okay. And
that's because my posting schedule has slowed down, focusing 5 days a week on college and then during the weekends content and filming. But during the summer breaks and when I'm like on my free time, it could be like 40 to 60 hours or so. Man. It's like basically all day long.
I know what you mean, dude. It's like there's like it's like a blessing and a curse to be your own boss. Because like you were saying, like no one's gonna tell you that you need to clock in, but no one will tell you to clock out either.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so open ended.
Yeah, and then brands also for sponsored videos, they kind of expect you to work on holidays as well.
Yes, like, weekends, all that shit.
I had a couple videos over Thanksgiving break that the brands, like on the Tuesday before break, they were like, can you send this on Friday? And I was like, that's the day after Thanksgiving. Exactly. And I can't like complain because like I kind of signed up for this. And yeah.
And it's like, what are you going to like venture out of your 9 to 5 schedule?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be available on a Saturday with your kids if I need you? No, they're not. But yeah, it's a double standard. It's very hypocritical of them. I don't appreciate it. Out of curiosity, like, what do your parents think about all this stuff, like what you do? Because you're still on the younger side.
Yeah.
Like my friends who are like 35, I'm not gonna be like, so what's your mom and dad? Like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, cause
yeah, that's a funny thing. Cause like when I talk to other students, like I ask them about their parents and stuff like that. But when I talk to adults, like I have to remember, like I can't really ask them about their parents because like they're independent people at this point. But
you could always ask them like, what was it like back then? You know, when you were younger.
So my dad was actually super supportive. He was kind of entrepreneurial when he was younger. So he actually bought my first camera a few months into creating content when he realized that I was actually really passionate about it. My mom was like somewhat supportive, but I remember this one night I was editing a video for it was like an application for the OnePlus brand ambassador program in the US, and they were basically looking for people to represent OnePlus, the smartphone company, and I was editing that video. It was like 11 p.m. It was a school night. My mom came in the room and she was like, "Hey, I want you to go to sleep." And I was like, "I'm editing this video." And she was like, "I feel like you shouldn't spend as much time on this, especially when you're not making money." And like, she definitely had a point, because I was putting in so much time into this, not knowing that I would ever make money.
Right.
But it was just something that I wanted to do because I enjoyed it, and like putting myself out there was enjoyable when like you don't see other people's reactions to talking to
for sure
a camera.
And I mean, that's like if you're gonna if you want to try making money on social media, like you have to start from zero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so you kind of have to be okay, at least at first, living that starving artist lifestyle.
Exactly.
Which, you know, if you're talking about just like parents, you know, and their perception of that.
Yeah.
I mean, they always mean well. It's like they want the best for you and all that. But it's also like, come on, have a little faith in me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I have some confidence. I could do this.
Yeah.
But I also get it. But at the very least, like, your dad was super supportive, and that definitely helps. You know, it's rough when they're both, when it's like you're outnumbered.
Yeah, it's
like,
also
damn.
kind of funny because now like my mom and my mom's like my biggest supporter. And she's
I was
like,
gonna say, because you're making money now, dude.
Yeah, she's sharing her coworkers like she's like,
dude.
these are his videos, and I'm like, don't you remember like 6 years ago?
Yeah, right. And now she's like showing you off to her friends, like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I told you all he'd be successful." And you're like, come on, mom, come on. No, dude, that's exactly how it is. I mean, I remember when I first quit my job to pursue YouTube full time. My parents are both very supportive. I was very lucky, but I knew deep down they didn't understand what I was doing, if this would ever go anywhere. Probably they probably thought chances are very unlikely that this will go anywhere, and so they kind of I feel like they were biting their tongues a little bit. But same thing, dude. Like once you succeed, suddenly they're like they're on board, dude. They're like, "Oh, you bought that car?
Yeah.
You bought that car? We're doing videos?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole tune changes. But it's you know, I get it. Like,
Dude, you know, speaking of buying a car, last year before I bought my Tesla, my parents like hate EVs, or they used to hate EVs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They
Damn.
were like, we don't trust them. The battery might explode, and like, what are you gonna do if you get stranded halfway into on an interstate or something? And I'm just like, they've never looked up like the EV charger map in the U.S., like all the different locations. It just takes a bit more planning, and I feel like it's the future with no tailpipe, cooler tech that's built in. So
definitely,
I the day I went to pick it up at the Tesla showroom, my parents were about to leave the house, and I was like, oh, I'm actually gonna go off with my cousins to the Tesla showroom to pick up my car.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're not doing that. Like, we don't, like, why'd you get a car? Like, you could get a Toyota RAV4. And, and I'm just like, I bought this myself. Like, I want this. And, like, you're not going to get stranded in the car. I'll get stranded.
Sure.
Like,
but that's their problem.
Yeah. And then I'm like, if it happens and it's on me, like, don't worry about it. And, like, the day I came back from that, they were kind of upset. They were, like, giving me the silent treatment. But, like, the craziest thing was my neighbor across the street. It's like a kind of weird neighbor. He's like a character. But he's been unemployed since 2020, and he's like an adult child. I
didn't know we were neighbors. Goddamn.
And he looked at the car, and he was like, he said to my dad, he was like, hey, you guys bought a Tesla? And then my dad was like, no, it was all my son. He got a job. And then like ever since then, like they just switched up. They were like, wow,
damn.
I don't know. It's like,
yeah,
he did it himself, and and then now like my mom and dad, they want rides in the car, and my mom's like, when are you gonna buy me a Tesla? And I'm like,
yeah, dude, parents just need to be parented. You know, you just need to train them a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's funny how like just in that single moment that like they realize like this is quite an achievement.
Yeah.
For our son right now. This is kind of a milestone. Like he's buying cars.
Yeah.
That's something to be like stoked about. You know what I mean? Like, what, better than being homeless or something, you know? It's like that would be dangerous, not a Tesla.
Yeah.
But it's cool that that they came to that, you know, sort of conclusion. Thank you so much to MSI for making these CES 2024 talks possible. So MSI unleashed some killer tech at their booth, but one thing that totally stole the show, literally towering over everything, was the Mag Maestro 700L PZ. This beast of a dual-chamber chassis sports EATX and MSI's Project Zero motherboards. You know, the ones with the sleek cable action going on at the back for that clean look. But hold up, it gets even cooler. The case is a single piece of CNC'd aluminum, meaning zero panel gaps. Add in that one-piece glass panel wrapping around, and you've got yourself a stunner. Ready for some extreme water cooling too. 360mm radiators, kind of extreme. What? This unique bad boy, the Meg Maestro 700L PZ, is hitting stores in the next month or two with an MSRP of $379.99. Now if that's a bit too rich for your blood, check out the Mag Pano. This one's got a more budget-friendly price tag, coming in ATX and micro ATX sizes. US market gets 4 pre-installed fans, or you can choose a fanless version for the international crew. It's available in black or white, and that wraparound glass panel gives you the ultimate wide-angle views. The case features solid cable management behind the motherboard with plenty of room, and these cool hinged cable covers to make stubborn side panels a thing of the past. With so many Project Zero builds on display, it's no surprise that MSI is also flaunting their line of clutter-free boards, featuring the B650 chipset for AMD's Ryzen 7000 series, and Z790 and B760 chipsets for Intel's 12th, 13th, and 14th gen CPUs. Back Connect design for effortless cable vibes, robust power delivery, and extended M.2 SSD heatsinks, they've got it all. Not to mention 20 gigabits per second USB, Wi-Fi 7, and 2.5 gigabit LAN for that extra sauce. Available now, so get them while they're hot. Hats off to MSI for making these CES 2024 interviews go down. Scope out their latest gear with the links in the video description. Thanks a million to Thermaltake for backing my CES 2024 chats. Now about those fans. Thermaltake's kicking it up a notch. Forget the old ones. These new Tough Fan EX and Suave Fan EX models are on another level. Why? They've got magnets that let you link them up, waving goodbye to that cable chaos. Coming in 120 and 140mm options, these fans only need one cable to power up to 3 fans at once, making PC building a breeze. Need to clean, mod, or swap the blades? Easy peasy. Plus, all the fans include some lube so your little propeller doesn't dry out. Thermaltake's not just stopping at fans, no. They're diving into the racing sim world with the GR500 cockpit. It's got it all. Adjustable fiberglass bucket seat, pedal mount plate, and a sturdy frame that's pre-drilled for all major brands like Thrustmaster, Logitech, and Fanatec. And hey, if you're into that triple monitor setup, they've got a stand for it. Picture this. 3 of Thermaltake's 32-inch curved monitors with all the bells and whistles. Quad HD resolution, 170Hz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, and sleek bezels for an immersive edge-to-edge view. Want the deets on all of Thermaltake's latest tech? Hit up the link in the description.
Out of curiosity, how is your experience with short form? I've seen a few of your videos as well as the videos with Terrence, the poets.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, honestly, I don't have a ton of experience with it, especially when it comes to tech.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say the most short form content I post is more just personal stuff to like my Instagram. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot because it's not only quick and easy, it's just so impulsive. Like, I'll just get a random thought, or like you said, like there's a funny caption that you want to use.
Yeah.
And then, and you know, even though I've been doing this for a decade or whatever, it's like you still get that dopamine hit, you know, when something does well, or like people really respond to something.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, like that was funny. You know, like my joke landed, you know, I landed a joke or something like that. But especially after having all these conversations with you and like the other guys, like I do feel like I'm kind of itching to do a little bit more like tech talk stuff. How about this? If you could only give a new tech creator on TikTok one piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, definitely practice more, and practice by making more content, and staying super consistent with it, just doing it every single day.
Yeah.
You might waste a ton of time doing it, but in that time you'll get proficient in like editing short form videos, just speaking in a faster pace, and just getting comfortable with making quicker content that's like straight to the point, because it definitely takes a lot of practice. I wouldn't really say long form or short form is like one of them is harder or easier. They're different, but it took like years of practice of really nailing it down. Right. And it's like a lot of people say like, oh, I can just be a TikToker, or like I think there's like a survey of like the majority of young kids, like kindergarten age or like elementary school kids, like want to be a TikToker.
Yeah, I saw that survey.
And
I was like, oh my God, that's wild.
And I'm like, sure,
No.
anyone can like pull out their phone and make videos, but
Sure.
it's the person who really dedicates their whole life to it, like for
Right.
at least a few years, who gets really
Yes,
good at
100%.
coming up with ideas, and just being intentional about it.
Yeah.
With the whole process.
Absolutely. I agree with that fully. I think that most, if not all, the people who have gotten to some degree of success
Yeah.
through social media were at one point or another obsessed. They were obsessed. It was like the first thing, that's all they could think about. Because that's how it was for me for so many years when I first got my start. And I don't think I could have succeeded any other way. I really don't, because it's because if you're not going to do it, there's 1,000 other people that are going to do it.
Yeah.
That are going to wake up and that are going to make those late nights happen and pull overnighters and stuff.
Exactly.
And it's like it's so competitive. But to that point, like I experienced some severe like burnout at some point. Like I was just doing 80-hour weeks and stuff. All right, maybe like 70, but at some point it started really wearing me down. So I realized like, okay, making content every day and like just going at this rate isn't, in the long term,
It's not feasible.
it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you think, as someone who's just getting your start or whatever, a couple years in, how do you think you'll manage that work-life balance and you know, where do you draw the line between you know, working hard and just toxic grinding?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a difficult question, because I'm also kind of struggling with like dealing with burnout and trying to balance work and school and other things. But I think the most important thing for creators who are facing issues and are thinking about taking breaks and slowing down their uploading schedule is that I guess you kind of have to keep that fire in you and stay hungry the entire time, and just appreciate all the work that you've done and look back and like just be grateful that you've built all of this, and realize that there's so much more to do and progress. But that's not to say that you should go from 2 videos a day to 3 when you're starting to feel burnout. You should try to find a balance to where you keep going, but maybe at a slightly slower pace, so that it's manageable that you're going.
For sure.
Because like sometimes when you're taking breaks, you might take like a random 1-month break, go on a crazy vacation. You get back into it and you start to feel like, dang, I've missed out on so many opportunities. I just feel rusty talking to a camera, editing. There's so many different factors that go into it. But if you just posted like once every 2 weeks or so, like at least had a little bit more practice, it would have been more sustainable to keep it up.
Exactly. Yeah, I do think that for a lot of creators who have been doing it for a long time, like myself included, it was like I grinded my ass off.
Yeah. The first few years.
For the first few years,
Yeah.
because I could handle it and it was still like fresh or whatever. And then I eventually scaled back a little bit and just kind of coasted at this now cruising altitude. You kind of reach a cruising altitude that you're like, okay, I'm still happy with. You know, I'm not, you know, blowing up as frequently, but I've already established a good foundation where it's like I'm set. You know, so yeah, I totally agree with that. Dude, anything else you want to share with the class while we're here?
Do you have any advice for new creators? And
for new creators, on TikTok or on YouTube in general?
let's say brand new creators
Okay.
in general, and then also for creators who, someone like me who's young and entering the tech space.
Yeah, I would say the 2 most important things are you have to leverage your strengths. It's like judo. Like you rely on your own body weight to create force. You know, like lean into the things that you know or the things that you're good at. That doesn't mean to stop learning in other areas that you're rusty in, but you know, if you like, all of your quirks are your greatest strengths. Everything that you think people are judging you for, like, oh, I'm too this, I'm too that, you know, I talk too fast, like, that's what makes you you. And if you can drill that into your brand, there is an audience for literally anyone and everything.
For sure.
And it's not going to be sustainable if you're just trying to pretend to be someone you're not. And to just make content for you. Don't. I mean, there's some benefits to just like chasing the algorithm to a degree, but or trying to please the audience. But ultimately, you have to really just be in love with the videos that you're making,
Mm-hmm.
because it's transparent. People can tell when you're not having a great time on camera.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like you can't fool them.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing you really can do for your viewers is
Mm-hmm.
to just make a video for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the most fun. You're going to turn out the best product possible,
Mm-hmm.
if that's in check. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a million things that I could say, but those two things
Yeah.
come to mind. Yeah, and it seems like you're doing fantastic, dude. Where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram at TonyTechBytes. That's TonyTechBytes.
Yeah, this is our first time meeting. This is our first time meeting, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
For sure. Thank you so much, Kyle, for
Yeah,
this.
dude. Thanks for having me, or thanks for being here. Yeah, dude. I'll catch you later. Have a good CES.
Thank you.